Hey everyone, hope they're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis updated commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'm going to interject my financial opinions as we go. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. We do have a coupon going on. It is now changed to Mayday. One word, Mayday. Mayday. And that is in the description link below. You can see what the discounts are with the Mayday package. That's what we'll call it. All right, so let's dive in here. Let's take a look and see what's going on today. We've got the dollar here. I think it looks good to go higher, guys. That's what I'm seeing. We've been moving on up. We've broken through the downtrend there. We don't have a ton of selling pressure. So everything is still intact for a potential move upward. And I think that will extend also to interest rates. Now, generally speaking, if the market were to have this recession slowdown that everyone's calling for, that's generally when yields roll over and the dollar starts to head lower as well. We're not seeing that yet. And that's kind of where I'm at. We are seeing some mixed data out in the markets where we could potentially see the beginnings of maybe this stuff come to fruition. But right now, it's not there yet. We've got the 2-year yield getting a little bit stronger selling pressure day to day. We are kind of coming on up. So we'll see if this breaks out to the upside or the downside, because we did get a little bit larger selling pressure day to day. Could be considered a bearish engulfing, where we could head a little bit lower on the 2-year. And what I'm looking for is maybe this is more of a pattern that's squeezing upward, potentially. And that's where we're going to have to see if we break upward or lower. But at this time, slight momentum working its way upward. 10-year yield also down a little bit today. We're up against support. And we've been riding that support pretty hard here. Still looks good to go higher, though, in the short term, and the support is holding. 30-year yield also doesn't look too bad to move higher. We are working our way on up. You know what this chart looks like? It almost looks like and I know it's on a different time frame, but it almost looks like the oil service companies. But moving on its way up. We've broken on up here. Little consolidation there, breakout. And it looks like we are still going to have that upside momentum. And I haven't seen it change yet. TYX TNX ratio, we are still inverted. And we've been inverted for quite a long time here. Are we going to uninvert? Are we going to get a recession? Are we going to get a slowdown in the market? And is gold going to rip it? Don't know, guys. Everyone's trying to predict this, and a lot of people have gotten it wrong. Lots of predictions about slowdowns occurring in 2022 here. And here we are, inverted still. So we had a pretty long inversion back here from 2005 all the way to 2007, but I don't see the same market conditions occurring now. It doesn't mean we can't see evidence of it occurring soon, where housing starts roll over, which they're kind of going sideways right now. And then we could look at construction jobs and unemployment of construction, and that very well could be the beginning signs of a potential slowdown. And we did see some slowdown with construction jobs. So that's some of the stuff that I look at, and we could start to see that information deteriorate, which then would have an impact on a lot of this other stuff, I think. Bond price is up a little bit. There we are, but momentum still to the downside. I don't see the green army showing up here yet. So I'm going to favor to the downside still. And then the 2 and 10s, again, we're kind of just working our way back and forth. We're uninverting to some degree. And then the real fun occurs when we start breaking down here. And that's where the real fun starts to begin, is when you start getting to this level and lower, where we could potentially see a market slowdown. and a lot more intense selling pressure is what I'll call it. Gold up almost about $20 an ounce. We still have these two eyesores of big selling pressure days. It could be an effort to try to turn this sideways and work our way on up. I'm not seeing a contraction here like this. We could have one last one. It's possible, but I am bullish gold. I do think in the short term, yep, we're getting a pullback here, and it could pull back a little bit further. But with the yield curve inverted and the potential uninversion of the yield curve, that makes me bullish gold. And gold has already broken out, I think, sniffing some of this stuff out. Now, the way that the Federal Reserve deals with that, where they could potentially lower rates, print money, do all this QE, reverse QT, that's all on the table here. So we could stay inverted for longer if some of this, they start pulling some of these strings with QT, print money, all that stuff, or they just uninvert the curve, and there we go. Silver up a little bit today. We still have these two ugly eyesore candlesticks there, and I do think that we could still work our way a little bit lower and then potentially bottom out. Platinum looking decent. My eye is really on this trend line to see if we can break here. To me, the fractal looks pretty good. We've been squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. I hope we break here, guys. It looks good. Palladium working its way sideways today, and it's what I would consider to be a pretty cheap price. Maybe we get to $900 or something, maybe. And we'll see what the overall markets do, because if the overall markets tank, it could drive this lower as well. So we'll be watching that together. XAU to gold down a little bit today, where the gold and silver mining companies underperformed gold itself. But I do think we're getting close for a fun ride in gold and silver mining companies, and that comes from the uninversion of the yield curve. CRB index down with oil. It doesn't look too pretty here. We could see further downside with this. We had a inventory addition this week, and it was a pretty good addition. So weakness in crude oil could continue. We've got CRB to S&P 500, another down day with the CRB being as down as big as it is. And maybe we've got one last washout sale before we head on higher, a slowdown in the market potentially. Maybe that still exists in the market. Maybe it doesn't. And that's where a lot of people are trying to make these predictions. And I just think the data right now is so mixed. It's real tough to know where this exact bottom will be, or if we've already hit it here. We've got GDX up a little bit today. We're trying to break out of this trend line that's above us. That's the trend line that's above us that we're trying to break out. And I do think it will break out. GDXJ also broken out of this. And we've been consolidating here for the past couple of weeks here. Doesn't look too bad. And then SILJ also consolidating much like GDXJ, but that's also broken out of its falling wedge here to the upside, and I think that will continue to the upside with time. We've got crude oil down pretty big, 3.45%. We've got good support here at about 77, 78 bucks, and that's where I think we'll grab some support. We could even grab it right where we're at. So I think in this general area, we'll probably grab some support. Some people are saying there's a head and shoulder here. If that is a head and shoulder, it's not a very big one. And the projected price move would get us down to 75 bucks if that were to play out as such. TTF back to support, doesn't look too bad to me. We're holding. Natural gas in America down 3%, but again, guys, this is going to take some time. Give it some time. It's got to work through some inventory, probably through the summer even. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, getting some strong selling pressure today, tagging up on the neckline. There's the neckline that we've got of the inverted head and shoulders, tagging right up on it. And there we are with the little wick at the bottom here. Now, if we see strength here, guys, I would be a buyer if we get some reversal candlesticks in here. You guys know my favorite companies on the website. And that's kind of where I'd be looking, is if we get a support line here, and watch crude oil to see if we get support in oil as well. OIH also selling off, and what this is a big kind of flag pattern that will probably end up in the 300s here. And again, we've got momentum to the downside. Look for a bottoming area here where we start to turn. That's what I would look for. If oil, and let's say demand is weak and we continue to get additions to inventory, we could pull back farther than that. That is a possibility. So I don't want to say that that is necessarily going to be 100% the bottom. That's why we're watching to see it for a turn. It's profits of the Uranium Trust. I know there's some news that was released with some sanctions. We were up today. Is this beginning of a big move? Well, I don't like seeing patterns that go up like this, break to the downside, and have news like this. It's almost like they're trying to like sucker people in potentially, but again, I'm going to wait and see if we hold on up. I'm not trading in and out of these stocks, so I'm good where I'm at. The equities, URA, we are still squeezing up here. There we go. We're squeezing up, and we're up 3% today. On URNM, we're up 4.24. We are above the support level. The support level goes all the way to the top here. So, I mean, it's possible that we can break. It's just an ugly looking lead up pattern to Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. And then URNJ up 5%, but we're still squeezing in the corner here. We're still squeezing up. And this could very well break and rip. It very well could. Because this pattern is definitely a bullish pattern because we entered it from the bottom into it. We've been consolidating. That's probably what will eventually occur. Oops. So that's looking okay, but I'm not 100% convinced that we're just going to rip. We've got TAN. Surprising that this was down a little bit today. We did have weaker dollar, weaker yields. So this doesn't look all that great. We've broken to the downside. We've lost support. We got to see some strength. Copper, we've got this big reversal candlestick here. I'd hold on. We probably do have a little bit more consolidation sideways or slightly lower left in copper in the short term. We've got COPX down just a little bit. It looks all right. I mean, it's like we're basically just consolidating here, figuring out where we want to go. But longer term, I like it. Longer term, double bottom, the breakout, the retest. And then we're just kind of working our way on up. Lithium up a teeny bit. And we've got this downtrend that we're trying to break. Surprised it didn't go up more than what it did with weaker yields and dollar. REMX, it's the same situation. It's trying to work its way up. It's got a funky little pattern here. We've broken to the downside. So it makes me think that we want to go lower, not higher. But the candlesticks don't look too bad through here. Bullish engulf in there too. S&P 500, not looking the best. To me, this looks like it wants to try to head lower. And this very well could be the driver of some of these other sectors where it drives us to the downside. So there's your squeeze up, your bearish engulfing breakout pattern, and then we get upward facing flag patterns. NASDAQ's doing something very similar to that. Now, are they going to get in here, reverse QT, start adding to the balance sheet, do something for this election? Maybe. We'll see. We've got carry up 2.57%, right, hitting its head on resistance here throughout the day. But it's been, for the most part, going sideways. Big, huge consolidation here. Emerging markets, figured it would go up more than that with weaker dollar, weaker yields. But we are still consolidating there. Maybe commodities are weighing on it. We've got XHB also looking a little bit more bearish here in the short term. This is a flag pattern inverted that could potentially head lower. I know there's some data that was released for home builders and construction workers that wasn't all that impressive. I'll say that. Moo also heading a little bit lower today. It's this flag pattern that we're seeing here. And then the break to the downside today. So we could see further downside in Moo in the short term here. Somewhere down $69 level or something. We've got iron ore that looks good. I think it will continue higher. We do have a gap here that might need to get filled. And that's what I see. It looks like it's trying to bottom here. Doesn't look too bad. We've got nickel also, I think looks pretty good. It's working its way on up, grinding on higher. Aluminum sideways today. It looks like some sort of pattern that's developing. We'll see if we can break. And I don't know if we might break to the downside here. We do have some pretty bearish candlesticks and some pretty weak movements upward. So I would be looking for a downside break potentially or further consolidation. BDI moving sideways. It's holding on in this pattern here, broadening structure pattern. Coal looks really good. Newcastle coal futures broken to the upside. That looks good to go. Like we've said, in here we were getting that upward move with the big green candlesticks. It doesn't look bad to me. BTC looking like total garbage. This doesn't look good, guys. Lower is what I would say there. We had our breakout of the pattern, kind of an ugly looking deal here, and then we're getting re-accelerating selling pressure. Ethereum's the same thing, except we got good support down here with all these candlesticks. It looks like there's some support there. You look to the left, yeah, resistance support. So basically we've got all this in here, and that's your resistance pushing us lower, some sellers. And we've got the overall markets looking a little bit weak. We'll see if there's follow through or if we can turn this thing around. Let's get a couple more candlesticks in here, and I think we'll get better clarity. SMCI down 14% today. This does look pretty crappy here, guys. NVIDIA too. We were down about 4%. And to me, this does look like it wants to head lower. But again, we'll see. I know that these are stocks that a lot of people watch. And I'm sure if the Federal Reserve is going to do anything, they're going to go straight to these stocks. So that's what we've got in the market today. So that's what I've got. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you guys like. We've got Mayday, one word is the coupon code. 50% off, which is $25 off the first month. And if you want to try it, then it goes to regular pricing. Or you can sign up for a year and get a bigger discount. If you're an existing member and you do like the website and you like the community and our Discord channel and all that stuff, you can always switch from a monthly to a yearly membership if you like, at whatever time. If you need any help, just reach out to me and I can help you. And if you want to do it, yeah, just reach out. So that's all I've got for today, guys. We'll catch you later. Oh, one last thing. I did release a midweek update for the members. It is on the website already, and you can check it out if you'd like. But that's all I've got. We'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.